Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm your host, and today I'm stepping into the role of your instructor. Grab your notebooks because we are diving into a true masterclass on the modern job hunt. We're going to break down the art of securing a career in the 21st century, pulling straight from our source material. Let's get right to it. Here is our syllabus for today. We'll kick things off with a welcome to career class. Then we'll explore the creative job hunt strategy. After that, we've got a quick comprehension checkpoint, followed by the professional vocabulary lab. Then we'll review the passive voice in our grammar section and wrap the whole thing up with your final assignment. Okay, let's dive into this. Module 1, welcome to career class. So before we talk strategy, we really need to define our goal here. What exactly is a career? Well, in the 21st century, a career is a progressive series of jobs or positions by which one earns a living, or, earns one's bread. It's fascinating because in pre-modern societies, workers basically just inherited a single, static, lifelong role. But today it's completely different. Your career replaces that old static model. It's entirely about individual self-betterment and dynamic choices. You are totally in the driver's seat. With that foundation laid, let's move right into Module 2, the creative job hunt. Get a load of this statistic. Did you know that an estimated 1/3 of all vacancies for graduates are never actually advertised publicly? 1/3. You might be wondering, why on earth is that? Well, in a highly competitive market, employers want to save time and money, so they draw on a pool of what they call self-referred candidates. Basically, they prefer the talent to find that. So how do you actually become one of those highly coveted, self-referred candidates? You've got to ditch the mass mailings and get a bit creative. Step 1, you need to research thoroughly. Scan the general business news to spot companies that are winning contracts or expanding. Step 2, build a network. Use that intel you just gathered and tap into academic staff who have industry links. Step 3, keep a really meticulous record of all these contacts. And finally, Step 4, telephone before sending. Always pick up the phone before sending an application to ensure it lands on the exact right desk. Which brings us to Module 3, Comprehension Checkpoint. All right, it is time to test what you've just learned. Here is our first question straight from the text. What does a creative approach to a job imply? Take just a brief second to think back to those 4 steps we literally just talked about. Well, if you thought about taking the initiative and writing a small number of really well-targeted applications, you are spot on. It's all about studying the business section of a newspaper to find those hidden opportunities and, of course, actively building up a network of contacts. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why a targeted approach beats sending out hundreds of generic resumes. Let's try one more crucial question. Think about this. How do you prevent your application from arriving cold? Exactly. You telephone before you send a letter. Calling ahead is an absolute game changer because it helps you track down the relevant person and figure out their precise job title. It guarantees your beautifully crafted application doesn't just get lost in the shuffle. Plus, it signals your proactive enthusiasm right out of the gate. No employer is going to ignore that. Okay, moving on to Module 4, the Professional Vocabulary Lab. Let's warm up our language skills with a really vital professional trait, empathetic. This is a person who can relate to other people's feelings. Emotional intelligence is just a massive asset in the modern workplace. Embodying traits like empathy can truly set you apart when you're sitting in that interview chair. Now, let's expand that vocabulary a bit more. Employers are constantly scanning resumes for very specific profiles. They want the ambitious individual, a person who is driven to get to the top. Or maybe they need an extrovert, a person who genuinely enjoys meeting people and navigating new situations. They absolutely need someone reliable, who can always be counted upon. And of course, they look for someone persuasive, a person who can change people's opinions and really lead a room. Accurately articulating these traits in yourself is going to dramatically strengthen your cover letter. But hey, professional communication isn't just about throwing in good vocabulary words, it's also about sentence mechanics. Welcome to Module 5, Grammar, focusing on the passive voice. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the passive form maps out across past, present, and future tenses. A very important rule for professional writing emerges here. In things like corporate reports or scientific findings, we use the passive voice to completely omit the doer of the action. This is absolutely crucial when the people doing the action are numerous, totally obvious, or just honestly less important than the action itself. Let's look at how this transformation actually works in practice. Look at the active voice. They pulled down many trees. Now, shift that to the passive voice. Many trees were pulled down. Notice that grammatical pivot?
The somewhat ambiguous they completely vanishes, and the spotlight shines entirely on the trees and the action that was performed on them. It sounds so much more formal and objective, right?
Let's try a second example from the text. Active voice. Madame Curie discovered radium. Now make it passive. Radium was discovered by Madame Curie. In this case, we keep the doer at the end of the sentence, but the focus forcefully shifts right onto radium. The monumental discovery itself takes center stage. Great job keeping up with this, by the way. All right, we've covered strategy, reading comprehension, vocabulary, and grammar mechanics. Now, as we wind down our class, let's step into Module 6, your final assignment. To give you a little inspiration, look at the sample answer from an applicant named Salman Anwar. When a questionnaire asked him about his ambitions, he didn't just give a boring standard reply. He wrote, "My dream is to create a world where no child goes hungry. My greatest joy is to see a smile on a child's face." By detailing his profound dream to join UNESCO, Salman transforms a totally sterile application into a powerful statement of purpose. And let me tell you, that is exactly what stands out to a hiring manager. Which leads us to your homework for today. I want you to write about your dreams and ambitions and how you plan to make them a reality. Ask yourself, what is it you really want to achieve? Take everything we've explored today about the creative job hunt, take the initiative, and start crafting your own unique professional destiny. Thank you so much for joining today's Explainer class. Keep learning, keep pushing forward, and I'll see you next time.